Good afternoon today on our OpenE webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we are going to talk about accidents which happen from time to time using storage server. Even today I've got one customer who was unhappy because somebody deleted the data by accident. How to avoid this? So the smart administrator has a lot of possibilities to do it. Only the way is just switch it on. So we would like to talk today about logical volume manager and how to access external storage pools because sometimes we will have not enough space on our storage server to replicate the data. Another way of help we can get are snapshots. Also, we are going to talk how to create snapshots, how to schedule the snapshots, and how to restore the data from snapshots. And a very important thing is data replication. So we will replicate the data whether to local storage or to remote storage. Okay, so let us start. I'm switching to another PC. I have prepared today actually two NAS servers for the demonstration. The first server, okay, it is the IP address. I'm accessing this server. Of course, I can access over the name as well. Okay, DSS. If this is not joined to the domain yet, or DNS is not working yet, then it will be not accessible. And this is the case because I prepared the new from scratch, the server new from scratch, and now we will show the setup, how to join to the domain, so to make sure that it will be available over the DNS. Okay, so let us start. As you see, in the NAS settings, we have no NAS volumes, and in the maintenance, backup, data replication, we have no system volumes. Everything is empty, so we'll start from new from scratch. In the volume groups, in the volume manager, we see there is one storage unit available. So we have the one hardware RAID controller inside, and this is RAID 5 currently. I will show you the setup of the RAID because this is interesting, because one of the way how we look for the space for the destination of the replication will be also RAID controller. Let us go to setup hardware RAID. Okay, and then in my case this is Areka RAID controller. Okay, so let us open this. Username admin and password is standard 4x0. If it happens that you forget, you cannot find the manual, then you can always click on the question mark, and then in this case we always put this important information. Okay, so we have the RAID controller, and in the information then we see that it is a RAID 5. Okay, and in the physical disk information, okay, we see there is a one hot spare drive. Okay, maybe I will show you in our blog. There is an article why hot spare is a bad idea. There is a proof here that the hot spare is a bad idea. So in such case, we will say, okay, if this is a bad idea, let us delete this hot spare and define this as a so-called JBOD or pass-through drive, and let us use it for the destination capacity of our replication. Okay, so in the RAIDs, in the volume set function, in the RAID set function, there is delete hot spare drive. Okay, so when I click on delete, Then the slot 16, that's my hot spare. I just need to confirm and delete it. In this case, I have this drive as a free, as a available. This drive is still not show up to the operating system. In order to do it, we need to create so-called pass-through disk. This is something like JBOT, so just bunch of disk on some other manufacturer. They just put it under different name. So slot 16 is a free. We can now configure as a pass-through. But before we do it, let us come back to the volume manager, and we see we have our one unit, our RAID 5 unit. Okay, when I click on submit, then now a new disk will appear. The disk has small size because that's the SAS disks. Okay, the disks are only 73 gig, so it's a very small disks. Okay, anyway, you will have option to remove such a 70 gig disk if you are using SAS and insert very big 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte SATA disk in order to have the more capacity. Okay, after this we just rescan our units, and then the new unit will appear because this is a pass-through disk, so this disk will be reported to the operating system. Okay, so now we see suddenly we have 2 storage units, and let us format the first storage unit. Okay, the first storage unit, I just actually create a volume group on it, because we are using a logical volume manager, and the logical volume manager first create a group on the unit, and then we have option to create the logical volumes. On the volume group level, we can add more units, or we can create more volume groups. So now when the first volume group is created, then we will see more options in our pull down in action menu. Okay, the volume group 00 is already created. Then the second one, we see we have more options. We have option to create new volume group, and we have option the next one is add to VG00, so the next available unit can be joined with the available storage in the same volume group. And the third option is also we can create a dynamic volume, which is used as a destination for built-in backup function here. But we are not going to talk about it today. So if I will add to existing VG00, then I will span both storage units into one volume group, and I can create a logical volume over all available space. So this is when you need one very big logical volume over more storage units, but such option is not very reliable in case if you are going to run the system without one of them. Let's say one of them will be external iSCSI, and I will show you soon. Then if you disconnect or one of the unit is missing, then you cannot mount the whole volume group. Okay, so let us format another one as a new volume group, because we want to show today how to avoid accidental data deletion. So we will copy or we will replicate the data on the extra volume group. Okay, so we add the second one. So that will be one of the options of find the destination space. The next option will be to add external iSCSI volume or maybe fiber channel volume. In our demo, I've prepared iSCSI volume. So I have one more server. On this server I have prepared, I guess, 200 giga iSCSI target volume. So let us connect to this volume. Okay, so iSCSI Initiator. Okay, my second server, it is on IP 192.168.0.50. Okay, apply. So now we are going to connect to this external iSCSI target. So it is unconnected, that's the target name. Let us connect. There is no chat user, I make it easy. Okay, connect. And because iSCSI simulate a local disk, in such case this, okay, we are connected now. So this disk will appear in our volume manager as a new volume group, and this new volume group is already, it was already formatted from the last demo. So I don't need to reformat because it is formatted. If I need to reformat, I will need to delete the volume group. Okay. In order to delete the volume group, you need to go to Console Tools, and in Console Tools select the delete content of units on the Ctrl-Alt-X function. Okay, so you see now we have three separate volume groups. On the first one, VG00, that's the volume group for our data. Okay, let us create the logical volume first. So we want NAS volume. Let us make a small logical volume, let's say 100 gig. Okay. And before we start to show how it works with the replication, I will create one snapshot volume. Okay. Let's say I will take only 10 giga for snapshot. Okay, let me see. There are some questions already coming. Okay, there are just feedback about proper sound. No questions yet. Okay, I just remind you, if you will have some questions, just write down in the chat, chat window. Sorry. Okay, so we have created a logical volume. I didn't use option assign to the logical volume, so the next function still can work, and I can assign to my logical volume. Okay, I will create one more snapshot. We will use a few of them here. So I have option just to create or assign to already existing. So assign to existing logical volume. Okay. Also I will put 10 gig. Now will be the question for sure. What about size of the snapshot? If I will use the snapshot just for regular replicating the data, let's say we will use one of them for every 10 minutes, then the snapshot size can be quite small, because it will be not active for the long time. If you want your snapshot to be active for 1 day, then the snapshot must be a bigger, a little bit bigger than for the every 10 minutes. Or if you want to have the snapshot to be active for 1 week, then of course the size must be much bigger, because the size of the snapshot must be at least as big as the new data coming during the time the snapshot is active. Okay, we will make the example, so then maybe we'll understand this better. So the first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy some demo data on our logical volume 00 and start the replication first.